Hello ladies and gentlemen, Forrest Walpole here, and welcome back to another video. Today, we're going to talk about a video that has kind of sparked a bit of controversy ever since it came out. And when I say some, it's like not the biggest controversy, but as far as its own fan base goes, it is sparking a bit of controversy with War of the Fat Italians 2021. And I want to talk about that because, you know, I've seen the video and I've seen a number of reactions to it, so let's talk about it. So in case you if you haven't yet watched WOTFI 2021, I'd be shocked if you haven't, considering the number of views on that video. First of all, pause this video and then watch that video, like open another tab, watch that video, and then come back here when you're done watching it. You know, I can wait. So I'm going to assume now that you paused the video, so now you watched it, and now you're probably crying. You're probably crying right now, and it's okay as to why you are. But let's talk about this whole situation. So, as you know, in the video, a very popular SMG4 character was killed off by the name of Axel, and you know, some people are taking it in ways that you would expect. Some people thought that it did bring closure to him, that with all intents and purposes, it did do, the death scene did, you know, that build up to that scene and the scene and the moment itself did do its job correctly. Other people are thinking like it was unnecessary. It did not bring closure to the character whatsoever, but it definitely, in their eyes, was really unnecessary. Other people, a minor group of people are the type that I didn't really care about the characters, so it's whatever, right? But we're going to talk about these two main groups. One that say it was a good scene, that it brought closure, and the other one saying it was an unnecessary scene that did not bring closure to the character. So we're going to talk about just those two groups. Now, the first group is thinking that it mainly brought closure because Axel died knowing that the person that he had feelings for, Melanie, what's the word I'm looking for? She did share those same feelings with him. And, you know, she did give him that kiss before she had to do the deed that she had to do to ultimately save the whole world. Well, their world, but still. And the people that are saying it was unnecessary, their logic is that, you know, they actually could have either done this better or they could not, or in some cases, and I've seen this recently, they were thinking that, well, you know, he shouldn't have done this storyline at all. What was the point of bringing SMG0 back in the first place when they defeated him the first time? What was the point of doing this arc in the first place, right? They even said if he didn't do this arc, we wouldn't have lost Axel and all would have been right with the world. Pretty much that's what they're saying. Now, I do get where both of them are coming from, and I will respect your opinion on how you view this, because truthfully, I believe SMG4 knew this type of reaction was going to come, that it was going to split the fan base in some way. He knew it was going to happen, but he still went ahead with it. He knew what was going to happen, he decided to go along with it, and deal with the consequences later, right? That's basically what he did. It's kind of like with what I said on Twitter on the day that the video aired. You know, it's tragic, yes. But he knew that he was going to get the reaction that he was going to get afterward, and he went along with it anyway. Now, if you didn't like Axel dying, that's okay too. Again, he knew that was going to be a reaction that he was going to get, and, you know, he went along with it. Just remember, the man is known to be real when he has to be. And he's known to make these shocking plots, these shocking twists and turns when he has to do it as well. Now, whether that brings Axel back on a later date, at that time, I didn't know. But, right now, I believe we should mourn the loss of this great character. And at the end I put hashtag RIP Axel. Now, at the time, I didn't know if they were ever going to bring him back or not. Now, there was a Twitter post that was from one of the sources that was involved with this whole story arc that said that Axel's death was permanent. Now, just remember, guys, first and foremost, that's currently, as of this moment right now, his death is permanent. But sometimes a person can ultimately change their mind about a certain character dying and then potentially bring them back to life. But some people are saying, like, if he was to do that, it would most likely be like a one story arc kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Basically, I could see them using that no joke, that Kingdom Hearts 3 ending, where it ends where, if they were to do that kind of thing, I could see them doing like an ending similar to Kingdom Hearts 3, where you had Sora and Kairi sitting next to each other on that branch, where it'd be like Axel and Melanie, and they share the last few moments of Axel being in this world together, alone, knowing that he's gonna pass on again, and do that. That'd be so sweet. That would be so, that'd be so heartfelt, honestly, because then at least the two of them could have spent some alone time together, before he had to go on to the next world, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, sorry. So yeah, that's the way I would see it if he does decide to bring Axel back. Maybe even Destiny, doing the same thing with her and Maggie, but not in that kind of vein, but have it to where, they do hang out for the last moment of her being in this world before, going back into the next world because their job is done, That, I honestly would love to see that, but I know it would not happen anytime soon. But then there's something else that caught my attention. Myself included, and there were a number of people that did make a comparison to Brian of Family Guy, because the same thing is kind of happening here, but to a lesser degree, right? With Family Guy, a good number of the fan base was pissed off when Seth MacFarlane just decided to kill off Brian, the dog, who also happened to be a main character as well. And so many people were so mad about it that they did, I don't know if they did a hashtag to it, but they most likely did. But I do remember that there was a trend about Brian from Family Guy on Twitter because of that, and fans were not happy about it whatsoever. And even when Seth MacFarlane did try to explain why he... Damn it. Sorry. But even when Seth MacFarlane did try to explain why he did what he did, fans were not relenting. They were on him like crazy. They kept saying, bring Brian back. Bring Brian back. We want this man dog back. Bring him back. And Seth MacFarlane did. He ultimately caved into the fans, and he ultimately did what they wanted. See, I don't know if SMG4 will do the same thing here, but because if you think about it, while there are some very vocal fans who are not happy with Axel's death, there are a few other, it's basically like half and half pretty much. Half are saying his death, we want Axel back, and the others are saying, I want Axel back too, but his death was necessary to continue this story. Now, I want everybody to know here, I do understand why they want to have Axel brought back, but I have a feeling that if SMG4 did do this, why do I get the feeling some of those people on that side of the coin are going to say, why did you bring him back? That was a waste of death. And then everybody else is going to look at him being like, you guys wanted him back and now you're going to tell him, you're going to ask him why he brought him back? Really? Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on. So, yeah. Personally, I'm in the middle, really. I do believe that his death did bring closure to his character because, again, he did die knowing that the person that he had feelings for, the person that he had feelings for had the same feelings toward him. And, they had that one last moment together before she had to do what she had to do to defeat the main evil that was going to, do his thing. But because of that one video that he made about a month or two back, maybe a bit longer than that, but he made a video titled "What If" not too long ago. I kind of want to see him do like a sort of like a bad ending type of deal. Like, what would have happened if Melanie did not do it? But at the same time, it's like, what if that ending was a bit better than this ending, Because then people are going to we want that ending instead, And it's going to be terrible for him to do that. So it's like, I want to see him do that, but at the other end, I don't want him to. Because then there's going to be like that twist, like with like how he did that ending with Dusty, how when he did the what if Dusty was still alive, and it turned out that Maggie was going to die in her place some way, somehow, doing that. Honestly, I don't know how I would feel if that did indeed happen. But here, I want to see the what if situation of if Zero won, but at the same time, I'm kind of afraid to see it as well, I think we all can agree with that sentiment. But there is one part of this whole thing that I want to talk about, and that is the petition that was being made to bring Axel back. Now, first off, even if you got the signatures, it's not going to do it. It's most likely not going to do anything. Even though SMG, it's like what I said, SMG4 knew his reaction, the reactions he was going to get, and he went along doing this anyway. And now there's no going back from this. Unless he plans on doing like a one-off like arc appearance for Axel, possibly Dusty, then I could see him bringing them back for just that one arc, and then, doing that taking them back to the afterlife afterward. I could see him doing that, but legitimately bringing him back completely, it's just not going to happen. I hate to say it, but it's just not going to happen at all, period. And the second thing is, it was asking for 100 signatures for it to happen. And of course, there are people that were talking about Axel's death, and talking about how it was unnecessary. But my thing is, like, I get you pain. I really do. I get you pain. But 100 signees is not going to change anything. You have to have a hell of a lot more than 100 people to sign the petition along with you. At the time of my looking at it, it had 25 signatures. So I don't know what the number is currently at now, and quite frankly, I don't want to. Because like I said, even if I did, it's a wasted effort. It's not going to change anything. I'm sorry to say, but it's not going to change Axel's death. He's still going to be passed away. Even if you try to send this petition over to SMG4. I'm sorry, but that's not going to happen. He's not going to bring Axel back. At least not anytime soon. And even in a one-arc appearance. It's not going to happen right now. Sorry. But I will say this much. I also want to say, and I'm not sure if I was the only one that was thinking this, but because of the previous video that they did before WOTFI, they played it so damn hard that I was thinking, like, when she first did that whole bit where she was in his mind, and then she had that sword up to Axel's face or chest, after she gets out of the mine. I honestly thought she was going to kill him right then and there. Then, of course, I remember two things. Number one, you know, that doesn't happen in a series finale. They usually don't kill off main characters until like at or near the season, the arc finale, right? And so yeah, that's what happened here. She ultimately did kill him off. This was just a damn tease, getting us to think that she was going to kill him right then and there, but she ultimately would do so in WOTFI 2021, right? That was a hell of a tease, and I'm like, I even said, boy, do not play with my emotions right now. I don't like my emotions being played with. Don't play with my emotions right now, my dude. Please, don't do it. But, yeah, so Axel is no longer alive. He has passed on to whatever world he is in now, upstairs. It's gonna be weird. I will say, it is gonna be weird not seeing him in these videos anymore. It's gonna be like, I feel like we're gonna have those moments where we're gonna be like, wait a minute, where's Axel at? He's the main character, and then we're gonna realize, that's right. Damn it. Trust me, like I said, I get your pain. I don't like that he died either. But at the same time, he sacrificed himself. It was basically the need of the one versus the need of the many. And in this case, it was about the need of the many over the need of the one. We did want that one to survive. But at the same token, they had to sacrifice the one to save the many. And honestly, there is a bit of a life lesson that I think could be learned about this. Honestly, like I said with the video before WOTFI 2021, I was thinking that they were going to kill off Axel, and I was thinking like, dude, don't play with my emotions, man. You know, we all knew. We all felt like that was going to happen in this video, in the video before WOTFI. We all probably thought he was going to die, but he ultimately didn't. So it was like, now we know he's going to die, but we don't know when. And even when we do know when, like it just hits us before it even happens, it's still a shock to us. Because we cared about this character, we liked this character. Well, not everybody liked the character, but you see what I'm saying. But people liked this character, they respected this character, they thought he was one of if not the best characters ever. One of the best original characters ever made by SMG4. You know, that whole story there. We all knew it was going to happen, and even when we did know it was going to happen, and when it did happen, we were still shocked. That's normal human behavior. That is normal human behavior. We all do expect people to die. I mean, hell, we're all gonna die someday. But the question is when. And even when we do know when, it's still a shock to the people around us on the day that we die, because, that's normal human emotion. Now, of course, eventually, we will move on. Eventually, we will move on from Axel's death. Some will move on relatively quickly. Others might have to take the time to move on a little bit longer than that. But in the end, again, it's human behavior. We're all not going to react the same way to something. We may take his death very positive. We may take that his death was meaningful, that it brought an end, that it was a very good end to his character, and others are going to say, well, it wasn't any of those things. But ultimately, both sides are going to move on from this death. Some of them just took the heat of the moment to do or say things that they may or may not regret at a later time. You know, they may wish they didn't say or do at that time, because they would later on understand why he did what he did. You know, so the way I see it, Axel's death was tragic. I do believe that it was a very well written scene, that it did bring closure to this character. But I do wish that we would have seen this character more before he died. You know, so yeah, that's my story and I'm sticking to it. And I can't help that I'm kind of sounding like a bit of a middleman person, but I'm just that way. I really do feel like that about Axel and his death. So right now, the best course of action is to try to move on from this. And like I said, I know some people are going to be able to move on relatively quickly, and others it's going to take a bit more time for other people to do so. But you know, that's just how it is, right? It's gonna happen eventually. But yeah, so I want to end this video with the hashtag RIP Axel 2019 to 2021. May he rest in peace. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, on whatever video I do next. Until the next video, ladies and gentlemen. That's how I should have said it, I know. But until the next video, ladies and gentlemen, this is Forrest Walpole signing off.